Once believed to be a mythical bird that couldn't possibly exist due to its unusual appearance, the black swan has now become a luxury commodity, each valued at up to $5,000. But have you ever wondered how humans manage to harvest over 40 tons of black swan meat every year? That extraordinary journey begins at tranquil lakes, where flocks of black swans are carefully tended and raised on a specialized diet. From there, they enter modern processing factories, where every cut of meat is handled with advanced technology, transforming nature's elegance into premium products. Today, join Agriculture Insight as we take you inside the most advanced black swan farms and processing facilities, where graceful beauty is transformed into one of the world's most exclusive ecological industries. All will be revealed in this video. If China is the black swan factory of the world, churning out tens of thousands of rare birds each year as if mass-producing beauty itself, then the United States is the stage for ultimate luxury, where black swans not only grace $1,000 banquet tables, but also glide across private lakes in multi-million-dollar estates of the elite. For centuries, black swans were known as phantoms of the lake, believed not to exist, simply because only white swans had ever been seen across Europe. Without a single sighting of a bird with black feathers and a red beak, the concept of the black swan was used solely as a metaphor for the impossible. It wasn't until the 17th century that the truth was revealed in Australia. This discovery shocked the scientific world and forced people to rewrite what they once accepted as absolute truth. Despite their elegant appearance, black swans are among the fiercest territorial defenders of any lake. When threatened, they spread their wings, trumpet like a brass instrument, and charge directly at intruders, even attacking dogs or humans without hesitation. But if you think they're only built for battle, you'll be surprised when stepping into the mating world of this enigmatic bird. Despite their elegant appearance, the black swan's reproductive life is far more complex and dramatic than most people imagine. During breeding season, black swan pairs often swim side by side, performing signature courtship dances, arching their necks, gently flapping their wings over the water, and producing soft flute-like sounds. After this elegant display, they mate right on the lake's surface, keeping balance by flapping their wings, creating ripples that shimmer outward, a scene both poetic and cunning, orchestrated by nature. Black swans are famously loyal to their mates, but only on the surface. They continue living together, building nests and raising cygnets like the perfect family. Yet in reality, about 30% of the chicks in a nest are the result of extra-pair mating. After their calculated courtship and mating rituals, the female black swan begins laying eggs, typically between 4 and 8 per clutch. What's fascinating is that not all the eggs in the nest necessarily belong to the official pair. Due to the unusually high rate of male-male pairings among black swans, a phenomenon known as borrowed eggs often occurs, where male pairs temporarily mate with a female to obtain fertilized eggs, then take over the nest and raise the cygnets themselves. Both the male and female take turns incubating the eggs for about 35 to 40 days, regardless of whether the eggs are their own or borrowed from the neighbors. Occasionally, in captivity, rare hybridizations between black and white swans have been recorded. However, most of these hybrids are infertile, much like mules, the offspring of a horse and a donkey. When the eggs hatch, the true parenting journey of the black swan begins. The cygnets emerge covered in soft, light gray down, completely different from the deep black plumage of their parents. Why the contrast? It's a natural camouflage, allowing the chicks to blend into the lakeside grasses and avoid the gaze of predators. During their early months, the cygnets stick closely to their parents, swimming in long lines like a miniature train gliding across the water. They learn to preen, to forage for food, but always under the strict supervision of both the male and female. At the slightest unusual sound, the adult swans will instantly spread their wings to shield their young or launch a fierce attack on any intruder who dares come too close. Black swans don't eat the same way as chickens or ducks. They are raised on a carefully balanced diet that blends natural foraging with specially formulated feed. During the day, they are released into semi-wild ponds where they leisurely swim and graze on leafy greens like Napa cabbage, lettuce, Japanese duckweed, and aquatic grasses. Their habit of feeding near the water's surface helps control algae and keep the ponds clean, earning them the nickname ecological engineers. In addition to natural food, farmers supplement their diet with custom-made pellets rich in protein, minerals, vitamins, and carefully adjusted fat levels to promote muscle growth, subcutaneous fat accumulation, and enhance feather color. Unlike other poultry that digest quickly, black swans absorb nutrients more slowly, allowing fat and flavor to develop evenly over time. This slow process gives their meat its signature texture, lightly chewy, low in internal fat, but with a rich, buttery layer under the skin. It's this unique profile that makes black swan meat a prized delicacy. To optimize black swan farming, commercial operations use a hybrid model, combining open water and shelter housing. During the day, black swans are released onto ponds that serve as natural swimming pools to build muscle strength, and as living stages where they preen, spread their wings, and assert territorial behaviors. On average, an adult swan can swim between 5 to 8 kilometers a day, an activity that enhances muscle development, reduces visceral fat, and naturally improves meat quality. To maintain ideal conditions, the pond water is refreshed 1 to 2 times per week, combined with regular cleaning to remove waste and algae, keeping the water clear. In a standard pond of 300 to 500 square meters, 20 to 30 swans can be raised comfortably, enough space for them to behave naturally and avoid crowding. The water also helps regulate body temperature, cools them during hot days, and plays a vital role in keeping their feathers glossy and healthy. At night or during the breeding season, swans are brought into enclosures where feed intake is carefully monitored and risks like egg theft or predators are minimized. Remarkably, black swans can also coexist with chickens, ducks, and geese in integrated farming systems. This balanced approach of free-range water access and structured shelter management has transformed black swans from wild icons into economically valuable livestock. After around 6 to 8 months of rearing, when black swans reach the ideal weight of 5 to 7 kilograms, they are harvested directly at the farm. The process usually takes place early in the morning or late in the afternoon to minimize stress on the flock. A few hours beforehand, feeding is paused to help empty the digestive system, ensuring better meat quality and easier preservation. Swans are gently caught by hand or with soft nets, taking care not to damage their feathers or skin, as both have additional value beyond the meat. Once collected, the birds are moved to a separate holding area before being transported to the processing facility. The harvesting stage requires precision, experience, and a calm approach to ensure both animal welfare and the final product's economic value. And now, let's step inside the factory, the most anticipated part of this entire journey. At this stage, the entire pre-processing and packaging process is carried out in a closed system, ensuring freshness and visual appeal. because with black swans, even at the dining table, beauty must be preserved. Upon arrival at the factory, black swans are taken directly to the processing area, where automated lines and skilled workers operate in harmony to carry out evisceration, cleaning, and organ removal. The system is specially designed for large poultry, enabling high-speed handling while maintaining aesthetic integrity, since the value of black swans lies not only in their meat quality, but also in their intact form, ideal for premium whole bird dishes. After initial processing, the swans are transferred to a rapid chilling system to quickly reduce body temperature. This step helps prevent protein degradation, keeping the meat firm, flavorful, and naturally colored. The birds are dipped into chilled water to bring down the internal temperature rapidly, then hung on racks inside high-capacity cold rooms. Even thorough chilling from the inside out is essential to maintaining freshness and ensuring optimal meat quality upon delivery. Next comes the portioning stage. Breast, thigh, wing, neck. Each cut of black swan is carefully separated according to precise ratios and standards. This isn't just about carving meat. Workers assess each piece for elasticity, color, and subcutaneous fat marbling, ensuring only premium cuts enter the packaging line. On average, each person can process 40 to 50 birds per hour while maintaining near-perfect accuracy, because with black swans, every detail must meet the highest standard. Following portioning, the meat moves to a modern packaging system. Some products are vacuum sealed to preserve peak freshness, while others are flash frozen at 18 degrees Celsius for export markets. All packages are clearly labeled with farm origin, processing date, and food safety certification standards. And thus, these once ordinary swan cuts are transformed from raw ingredients into luxury goods, gracing high-end restaurants and lavish banquet tables, where every bite reflects not only rich flavor, but the precision and care behind a world-class production process. Black swan meat doesn't explode on the palate with bold intensity. Instead, it offers a different kind of experience, lightly chewy, with a crisp and delicate skin, tender meat that finishes sweet and leaves behind a cool aftertaste, as if biting into a piece of meat infused with the mist of a lakeside morning. In upscale restaurants, whole roasted black swan is more than a dish, it's part of a culinary ritual. The skin is blanched in boiling water to create a glossy tension, and the subcutaneous fat layer is just thin enough to retain moisture without greasiness. Roasting is timed to the minute until the skin turns a deep amber hue, a color considered the gold standard among chefs for this premium delicacy. Beyond roasting, black swan meat is also prized for herbal stews. Unlike chicken or duck, which often break apart when simmered, black swan retains its springy texture even after long cooking. The broth remains clear but rich in flavor, infused with aromatic herbs. Rich in collagen, amino acids, and natural iron, black swan is regarded as a rare luxury at fine banquets, a dish not just consumed, but experienced. A single roasted or stewed black swan can cost many times more than conventional poultry, because what diners pay for isn't just flavor, it's exclusivity. With every crisp crack of the skin or every delicate sip of broth, one isn't just eating. They're tasting something once thought impossible, the transformation of a legendary bird into a tangible, unforgettable moment on the table. First, we'll begin by selecting healthy breeding pairs of pigeons, the foundation of every successful farm. Pigeons are famously monogamous, staying with one partner for life, so when pairing them up, you need to keep a one male, one female ratio and ensure they are between 6 and 8 months old for peak productivity. If the balance strays from 1-1, harmony in the nest starts to crack. Next, the male pigeons are strong and robust, with broad chests, often cooing and strutting confidently with their tails proudly fanned out. Meanwhile, the females are smaller, calmer, and more reserved. Before mating, the males typically preen and feed the females as a gentle yet instinctive courtship ritual. The timing of mating is very important. Pigeons only engage in it early in the morning or late in the afternoon, times when the environment is quiet and undisturbed. Although each mating lasts only a few seconds, it happens multiple times to ensure successful fertilization. And from here, they officially enter the period of becoming father and mother. Unlike other livestock, mother pigeons have a gestation period of about 8 to 12 days before they start laying eggs. The eggs are small, oval-shaped, ivory-colored, and have relatively thin shells. Compared to chicken eggs, pigeon eggs are smaller but more uniform and consistent in shape. Typically, each clutch contains only 2 eggs laid a day apart, with about 5 to 6 clutches during the breeding season. This is a unique biological trait of pigeons. Although they lay fewer eggs, their chick survival rate under natural incubation is impressively high, often reaching around 85 to 90%. But to ensure consistent quality and reduce stress on parent pigeons preparing for the next clutch, the eggs are not naturally incubated as in traditional farms, but are incubated using machines capable of handling large quantities of eggs at once. To carry out this stage, the eggs must be collected beforehand. Immediately after the mother pigeon lays the second egg, the farmer quickly and gently collects the eggs. The mother pigeon is very sensitive during this period, so to prevent her from noticing and to maintain a stable breeding cycle, fake eggs are prepared in advance and promptly placed in the nest as replacements. After being collected, pigeon eggs are gently wiped clean with a soft, dry cloth to remove dust without damaging their fragile shells. Next, each egg is regularly candled using a specialized light to monitor embryo development, ensuring that only eggs with viable embryos are selected. At this stage, it is very difficult to determine their sex, which is comparatively easier with chicken or quail eggs. The qualified eggs are then neatly placed into specialized trays and placed in incubators maintained at a stable temperature of around 37.5 degrees Celsius, creating ideal conditions for the embryos to develop evenly and healthily. If this egg handling and incubation process is not done correctly, it can lead to significant losses in the entire upcoming pigeon breeding season. And then, after about 17 to 18 days of incubation, the chicks usually make soft chirps or peeping sounds to announce their arrival and attract the attention of their mother or caregivers, just as the eggs begin to crack open, welcoming the tiny new lives into the world. When most of the eggs have hatched, workers carefully remove the chicks from the incubators and place them in warming chambers. This keeps their bodies warm, helps stabilize their breathing, and allows them to gradually adapt to the outside environment. About 12 to 24 hours after hatching, the chicks begin receiving a specialized, nutrient-rich diet. During their early days, each chick is fed 4 to 5 times a day, with each feeding consisting of approximately 2 to 3 milliliters. Just enough to stimulate the digestive system and support steady growth. Thanks to this, farms can standardize the entire process, shorten the rearing period, and optimize productivity, with thousands of chicks growing uniformly each day. After this stage, the chicks are gently returned to the loft to be raised under the care of the father pigeon. You heard that right. It's the father doing the parenting. Interestingly, pigeons also feed their young with pigeon milk, a trait usually seen only in mammals. In reality, this milk is a thick, nutritious white secretion produced in the crop of parent pigeons. Although this job is no easy task, thanks to their special instincts, these devoted dads manage it remarkably well. One detail you might overlook is the equipment used to raise baby pigeons, often called a brooder or holding rack, designed with breathable mesh frames to create a warm, safe, and comfortable environment that supports healthy chick development. When the chicks become stronger, small leg bands made of plastic or lightweight metal are placed on their legs. These bands carry identification numbers, symbols, or colors, helping farmers easily manage the flock, track information, distinguish age groups, and select breeding stock later on. Afterwards, the chicks are separated from their parents, and the pigeons are moved to a centralized rearing area where a specialized diet is applied to optimize growth rate and meat quality. As a result, the diet during this stage becomes significantly more nutrient-dense. The young pigeons are fed a specially formulated blend designed to support rapid development. This blend includes high-protein industrial pellets, which provide essential amino acids for muscle formation, combined with finely ground corn for energy, and roasted, finely crushed soybeans to add both additional protein and healthy fats. The pigeons are fed 2 to 3 times a day, with a total daily intake not exceeding 30 to 35 grams. At modern farms, feeding is carried out by automated systems. Drinking water is also adequately supplied through automatic nipple drinkers or cups installed along the cages, ensuring pigeons always have continuous access to clean water. Alongside a strictly controlled nutrition regimen, modern facilities are also invested in to create an optimal living environment for this hardy and active bird. Automated systems with manure collection troughs run along the bottom of the cages to gather and transport waste to a separate processing area on a regular schedule, typically every 1 to 2 days. Beyond maintaining clean facilities, disease prevention for the flock is taken to a proactive level through regular vaccination. This crucial measure helps prevent common infectious diseases such as Newcastle disease, avian influenza, and salmonellosis, protecting the overall health of the pigeon flock and ensuring sustainable, long-term farming success. The lifespan of a pigeon is typically around 10 to 15 years. But when raised for meat production, they only need to be kept for about 1.5 to 2 months. When pigeons are fully feathered, have a strong build, firm meat, and an average weight of 500 to 600 grams, this is the golden stage for producing high-quality commercial products with meat that is neither too young and soft nor too old and tough. The catching process is usually carried out early in the morning to minimize the chances of the pigeons panicking, flying erratically, or getting injured during capture. Now, the harvesting process typically follows 2 main paths: collecting breeding pairs for sale, or harvesting pigeons for meat production. Those meeting the standards are placed into specialized plastic cages with ventilation slots and appropriately sized compartments to prevent collisions and minimize stress during transportation. Finally, the cages are loaded onto specialized trucks, equipped with cooling and ventilation systems. This ensures the pigeons remain stable, clean, and healthy, ready for the next journey to the processing plant, where every gram of meat is handled carefully to guarantee quality for consumers. As soon as the trucks deliver the pigeons to the processing plant, a precise and synchronized closed processing system is activated. The cages containing the birds are taken to the raw material receiving area. Then each bird is hung on an automatic conveyor line, moving sequentially to the processing area, following strict food hygiene standards. Each bird is processed swiftly in under 30 seconds to ensure the natural freshness is preserved. After chilling with a specialized cooling system, the birds pass through a hot water feather removal machine that uses high-speed rotary technology to completely remove feathers without damaging the skin. On average, the plant can process 1,000 to 1,200 birds per hour, maintaining a stable supply for supermarkets, restaurants, and large distribution systems. Finally, the birds reach a modern packaging area using vacuum technology to extend freshness and limit bacterial contamination. Notably, some batches are seasoned to enhance the distinctive sweetness of the meat. And then, from those carefully packed trays of meat, the pigeon embarks on an exciting new chapter, becoming the key ingredient in a countless array of visually stunning dishes. Whether roasted to a golden crisp, with crunchy skin, or deep-fried to a fragrant, crispy perfection, each dish is sure to captivate diners and leave them wanting more. A fully grown buffalo may weigh only around 500 kilograms, but its ability to adapt far surpasses that of many other large livestock species. Buffaloes are especially drawn to water and mud, not just to cool off, but to protect their skin from harsh sunlight and biting insects. And interestingly, they even have their own personal assistant, the oxpecker, a small bird that perches on their back to remove parasites and alert them to danger. If India is the buffalo capital of the world with hundreds of millions roaming its fields each day, then Italy is where buffalo milk is turned into culinary gold. From street-side stalls in Mumbai to elegant appetizers in Naples, tens of thousands of tons of mozzarella di bufala are consumed each year, a soft, creamy cheese that's richer and more nutritious than its cow milk counterpart, packed with fat and protein, yet lower in cholesterol. Many still believe that beef is the true king of the table. But buffalo meat is quickly rising to fame for its higher iron content, lower fat levels, and compatibility with modern, health-conscious diets. From muddy fields to five-star restaurants, from plowing soil to topping gourmet dishes, the buffalo has quietly crossed every layer of society. And strangely enough, it's never needed to say a word to prove its worth. Female buffaloes typically give birth once a year, with a gestation period lasting around 10 to 11 months. They usually calve in the spring or early summer, when food is abundant and the weather is favorable, conditions that help ensure the health of both the mother and the newborn calf. After about 6 months, buffalo calves are separated from their mothers and moved to individual pens. This allows farmers to collect the full milk yield from the mother for the production of mozzarella cheese or other dairy products. Female calves are raised on a controlled feeding regimen to grow quickly, stay healthy, and may be kept as future breeders. Meanwhile, male calves are typically raised separately for meat production. Buffaloes can eat a variety of feeds, but the most common are silage corn and straw. After each wheat harvest, massive piles of leftover straw are gathered by specialized baling machines and compressed into large, tightly packed rolls weighing hundreds of kilograms. The straw bales are then loaded onto trucks and transported back to the farm by tractor, where they are tightly wrapped in long plastic tubes for preservation. Hundreds of bales are lined up in front of the barns, ready to serve as a crucial feed reserve for the buffaloes during winter or extended dry seasons. At feeding time, the straw is loaded into a high-capacity feed mixer combined with bran, grains, minerals, and other supplements. The result is a perfectly blended mix, easier to digest, rich in nutrients, and designed to fuel growth, strength, and the rich milk used to make premium mozzarella. An adult buffalo consumes around 8 to 15 kilograms of feed per day and spends up to 6 to 8 hours just ruminating. So if you ever see a buffalo constantly chewing with that slow, thoughtful look, don't be surprised. It's just enjoying a second round of the same meal, straight from its own stomach. And after hours of chewing and re-chewing their meals, what do you think buffaloes do next? That's right, they go for a bath. Bathing is usually scheduled around 9 a.m. or 3 p.m. when the sun is less intense. The moment the barn doors open, the herd rushes toward the pond almost instinctively. They plunge, splash, and soak, not just to cool off, but to relax their muscles after long hours of pulling or ruminating. A buffalo's body temperature ranges from 38 to 39 degrees Celsius, higher than most livestock. That helps with metabolism, but also makes them highly sensitive to heat and prone to heat stress. For buffaloes, daily bathing isn't about staying clean, it's about staying healthy. Once they've eaten their fill and cooled down, buffaloes also get a massage. Automatic rotating brushes are installed right inside the barn, gently spinning when the buffalo rubs against them. They help clean the coat, reduce stress, and stimulate blood circulation. Every stage of care, from feeding to bathing, leads to one goal: milk collection. A female buffalo typically begins producing milk 8 to 10 months after giving birth. Before milking, the udder is thoroughly cleaned with warm water and sterilized cloths to remove dirt and bacteria. Next, an automatic milking machine is attached, simulating the natural rhythm of a calf's suckling. The suction is carefully calibrated to extract milk efficiently while protecting the udder, preventing inflammation or injury, a common cause of reduced milk yield. On average, a buffalo can produce 4 to 6 liters per session. Modern farms can milk dozens of animals at once, smoothly, cleanly, and without bottlenecks. The milk then flows through a sealed stainless steel pipe system and into a cooling tank at 4 degrees Celsius, marking the beginning of its journey into smooth, creamy slices of mozzarella. When milk enters the cheese factory, it doesn't go straight into production. First, it must undergo strict testing for freshness, cleanliness, and harmful bacteria. Then, key nutritional indicators such as fat content, protein levels, and lactose are carefully analyzed. Only milk that truly meets the standards is kept, because even a 0.1% deviation in fat can ruin an entire batch of cheese worth tens of thousands of dollars. To ensure absolute safety before beginning its journey into cheese, the milk must undergo pasteurization. In this step, it is rapidly heated to 72 degrees Celsius for about 15 to 20 seconds, just enough to destroy harmful bacteria without losing its valuable nutrients. Immediately afterward, the milk is quickly cooled to lock in its fresh flavor and prevent any further microbial growth. After pasteurization, buffalo milk is transferred into large stainless steel vats, where it enters a crucial stage: coagulation. This is when the liquid milk begins to transform into a semi-solid form, separating into 2 main parts: curd, the solid portion that will become cheese, and whey, the liquid that will be removed later. To trigger this process, rennet is added, a traditional enzyme extracted from a young calf's stomach, or produced using modern microbial fermentation. Rennet causes the milk proteins, primarily casein, to bond together, forming a gel-like network that traps fat and essential nutrients. Once the rennet is added, an automatic stirring system gently agitates the mixture for 30 to 40 minutes to ensure even distribution of the enzyme. The stirring must be precisely controlled. Too vigorous and the curd may break prematurely. Too weak and the milk could settle unevenly, leading to inconsistent cheese quality. After stirring, the mixture is left to rest for about 30 minutes, allowing the curd to naturally set. Once the curd has formed, slow-moving wire blades begin to cut it into small, uniform pieces about the size of corn kernels. Cutting increases the surface area, allowing whey to separate more easily. Immediately after cutting, whey starts to rise to the surface. The mixture is then gently heated to around 38 to 42 degrees Celsius, helping the curds contract and release more whey. This step plays a key role in shaping the final texture, moisture level, and even the flavor of the cheese. As the whey separation process finishes, the massive stainless steel vats begin to tilt slowly, from with soft, elastic masses of curd slide down the chute, like slabs of condensed milk being released from a giant metallic mold. This is the curd, the concentrated essence of hundreds of liters of fresh buffalo milk. These ivory white curds are still warm, delicate, and fragile. Before they can be transformed into cheese strands, they must be evenly cut. In the prep area, workers use knives or semi-automatic cutters to divide the curds into smaller, uniform blocks, precisely measured. This step isn't just for convenience, it allows heat and salt to penetrate evenly, ensuring the final cheese develops the signature stretch, gloss, and elasticity that define true mozzarella. And this is one of the most anticipated moments in the entire cheese-making process. After being finely shredded, the curd is transferred into a specialized stretching and mixing machine. Here, hot water, around 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, is gradually added as the machine continuously stirs, softening the curd and bringing it to that signature stretchy consistency. Under the combined effect of heat and water, the proteins in the curd begin to straighten and rebond, forming the chewy, elastic, and smooth texture that defines true mozzarella. The portions are then rolled into perfect spheres using a precise spinning motion, resulting in evenly shaped, glossy mozzarella balls. Finally, the mozzarella drops into a cold water tank, rapidly cooling each piece. This step stabilizes the texture and prevents the balls from sticking during storage. The entire process, from shredding the curd to forming smooth mozzarella balls, takes less than 10 minutes, but every step must be tightly controlled to ensure proper texture, flavor, and freshness. In some artisanal dairies in Italy, mozzarella isn't just shaped into balls, it's braided into traditional forms known as treccia mozzarella. Braiding the cheese enhances its elasticity and structural integrity, while helping it retain moisture and providing a more satisfying texture when sliced. This technique isn't just practical, it's a cultural signature, especially popular in southern regions like Campania and Puglia, where mozzarella is considered a true culinary heritage. After being shaped and chilled, each mozzarella ball is transferred to the packaging line via an automated conveyor system. Robotic arms precisely place the cheese into specialized plastic containers, followed by an injection of sterilized brine to keep the mozzarella moist, soft, and fresh for longer. The brine also prevents the pieces from sticking together and helps preserve their elastic texture. The containers are then sealed, labeled, and packed into large cartons before being moved to cold storage at 4 degrees Celsius. From there, they're ready to be shipped to supermarkets, restaurants, and food chains around the world. According to estimates, over 5 million mozzarella balls are consumed globally every single day, from pizzas in New York to caprese salads in Rome. A staggering number for a cheese that lives in water and never dries out. Before becoming food, mussels are the silent gatekeepers of marine ecosystems, helping purify the water and sustain life beneath the ocean's surface. Today, mussel farms stretch across Europe, South America, and Asia, with global production exceeding 1.8 million tons annually, supporting an industry valued at around $5 billion USD. Chile, China, and Spain currently lead the world in mussel farming, thanks to their ideal marine conditions and advanced aquaculture technologies. Compared to other seafood like shrimp or salmon, which often require industrial feed and generate high emissions, mussels stand out for their ultra-low carbon footprint, while still being rich in protein, omega-3s, and essential minerals. They've become a symbol of sustainable nutrition in an era where humanity seeks balance between health and the environment. Right now, let's head to pristine coastal waters to see how farmers harvest thousands of mussels each day, kicking off their remarkable journey from ocean to table. There are 4 main mussel species farmed worldwide, each adapted to different marine environments and cultivation methods. Among them, the European blue mussel and the New Zealand green-lipped mussel stand out for their high meat quality and significant commercial value. In Chile, China, Spain, New Zealand, and other regions with deep, clean waters, the long line, suspended rope method is the most commonly used. It offers low costs, scalability, and high efficiency. Depending on the farming region, mussels are typically harvested from late winter to mid-summer when they reach optimal size and nutrient content. The harvesting process begins by lifting the mussel ropes out of the water using hydraulic cranes or specialized pulley systems. Each rope can reach 15 to 20 meters in length, weigh hundreds of kilograms, and be covered with thousands of mussels clumped together in large, dark clusters, along with seaweed and other marine organisms. So how do farmers separate thousands of mussels from these thick, anchor-like ropes? Traditionally, mussels were removed by hand. Farmers used scrapers, wire brushes, or metal combs to gently rake along the ropes, dislodging the mussels into collection trays or tanks. While simple, this method is time-consuming, labor-intensive, and can damage the mussels if not done carefully. Moreover, freshly harvested mussels are often covered in mud, dead barnacles, seaweed, and other biofouling organisms, so a pre-wash system is typically installed on board to rinse off the debris and ease the burden on processing plants. In modern mussel farms, this manual process has been replaced by automated onboard mussel stripping machines. These systems use rotating drums, metal rods, or stiff brushes, combined with high-pressure seawater jets, to gently shake and scrub the mussels off the ropes. The mussels are then filtered and collected in storage bins. This automation allows for faster, cleaner harvesting and significantly reduces mechanical damage compared to manual handling. Immediately after detachment, the mussels are sent through a seawater rinse conveyor to remove remaining sand, mud, and fouling organisms. Some vessels are even equipped with aeration units or coarse filters to further enhance hygiene before storage. Meanwhile, in parts of Europe, especially coastal regions of France, the Netherlands, and Belgium, mussels are farmed using the bouchot method, where they naturally attach themselves to vertical wooden poles fixed into the seabed. When the tide rises, the mussels are submerged in water to feed and grow. When the tide recedes, parts of the poles become exposed, allowing farmers to observe the mussels and time the harvest more precisely. Unlike suspended rope systems, the bouchot method doesn't allow for harvesting with pulleys or rotary strippers. Instead, farmers use specialized harvesting boats equipped with hydraulic cranes and custom mussel scraping buckets. These buckets are lowered close to the poles and operate like automated brushes, dislodging mussels from the wood surface while simultaneously washing away mud and debris with integrated water jets. Once dislodged, the mussels are suctioned into a collection chamber and transferred into the boat's storage hold. This approach speeds up the harvesting process, reduces manual labor, and minimizes the risk of breaking the poles or damaging the mussels, which can happen with traditional hand harvesting methods. After each harvest season, bouchot mussel farms require thorough cleaning and maintenance to prepare for the next cycle. The horizontal ropes stretched between poles, typically used to stabilize young mussels during early attachment, are removed, cleaned, or replaced if damaged. At the same time, the wooden bouchot poles are carefully inspected and cleaned to remove barnacles, seaweed, and other fouling organisms, ensuring a clean surface for the next generation of mussels to attach. In some regions, farmers also rotate or replace older poles to maintain structural integrity and reduce the risk of breakage or rot caused by prolonged exposure to salt water. All of this maintenance work must be carried out during low tide, requiring technical skill, physical effort, and seamless coordination between human labor and machinery. Once harvested, fresh mussels are transported to the processing plant in insulated containers and temporarily stored in aerated, artificial seawater tanks. This system keeps the mussels alive and healthy while allowing them to expel sand and grit before processing. As a result, the raw materials remain fresh and ready for the production line at any time. To begin processing, the mussels are poured into a feeding hopper and enter a fully automated closed-loop cleaning system. This integrated line includes pre-washing, beard removal, and drying, ensuring each mussel is thoroughly cleaned before further processing. First, the mussels slide into a pre-washed trough, where high-powered water jets remove dirt, seaweed, and coarse debris. Some facilities use rotating drum washers equipped with stiff bristled brushes, which tumble the mussels continuously in a spinning chamber while brushing them from multiple angles. Next, the mussels are directed into the central processing chamber, where rotating brush systems scrub the shells and pull off the byssal threads, beards. Throughout the process, low-pressure water sprays maintain moisture and immediately rinse away loosened debris. Finally, the mussels are transferred to a round bar vibrating conveyor, which gently shakes off excess water and dries the product. The vibration also helps separate mussels stuck together or those with residual beards. Thanks to the synchronized action of water, brushes, and mechanical motion, this automated system can clean several tons of mussels per hour, significantly reducing labor costs and processing time, while ensuring consistent quality across every batch of raw material. A conveyor belt with workers stationed alongside awaits just after the cleaning process is completed. Here, the mussels are carefully inspected by hand, with broken shells, dead specimens, mussels with residual debris, or those not fully debearded being manually removed. Although most of the process is automated, it is the eyes and experience of human workers that serve as the final layer of quality control, ensuring that only the best mussels continue to the next processing stages. The conveyor then carries the selected mussels to the packaging area. At the end of the line, mussels slide into a sorting funnel, where the product flow is evenly distributed into mesh bags or specialized sacks below. An automatic weighing system precisely controls the contents of each bag, typically between 1 and 2 kilograms, before the bags are securely sealed using plastic rings or specialized ties. In addition to mesh bags, plastic tray packaging is another preferred option for premium retail markets and restaurants where visual presentation matters. In the tray packing area, mussels are evenly arranged into pre-formed plastic trays in fixed quantities. The trays are then sealed with clear shrink film by an automated machine to ensure hygiene and preserve moisture. Finally, each tray is labeled with complete product information before being sent to chilling and boxing stations. A popular product line in mussel processing is frozen half-shell cooked mussels, commonly supplied to supermarkets and high-end restaurants. After thorough cleaning, the mussels are steam cooked at low pressure at 95 to 100 degrees Celsius, allowing the meat to be gently pre-cooked and loosened from the shell without damaging its structure. Once steamed, the mussels move along a cooling conveyor, where workers inspect and remove any defective ones. Next, one half of the shell is removed using specialized knives, creating the visually appealing and convenient half-shell mussel product. This step requires skilled hands to preserve the shape and keep the meat firmly attached to the remaining shell. Following this, the mussels are placed into aerated cold water tanks to rinse off shell fragments, quickly lower the temperature, and firm up the meat texture. They are then evenly spread onto a blast freezer conveyor set at -35 degrees Celsius, ensuring each mussel is individually frozen, locking in color, texture, and extending shelf life up to 18 months. Finally, the frozen mussels are automatically portioned into 250 grams to 1 kilogram flexible plastic bags, sealed, packed into labeled cartons, and stored at -18°C. The finished product is ready for distribution to supermarkets, restaurants, and global export markets.